In this project, I'm going to demonstrate the power of arrays in shuffling a deck of cards. Let me just demonstrate the project, then we'll look at what's going on underneath the hood. So I've got a shuffle button here. I'm going to click shuffle, and I have 52 cards, and it gives me an image of each card, and there are 52 different cards here. And then I also have a list in this text field of all the cards by their name. Let me click shuffle again. You'll see how quickly it does this. And the order is just always randomly generated. So let's look at how this is done using a couple arrays. So I have 52 instances of a movie clip named MC Deck of Cards, and each instance is named Card 1, Card 2, Card 3, and so forth, all the way down to Card 52. Let's take a look at that movie clip. I'm going to double click on one of them. And so the movie clip consists of basically one card in each frame. The first frame is the back of the card. Frame 1 is the ace of spades, and then the deuce, 3, and so forth, all the way through to the king. And then I have the ace of diamonds, all the way through to the king, ace of hearts, and then sequentially to the king of hearts. And then finally we have the ace of spades, all the way to the king of spades. In the very first frame, I have an action, and I have a stop command for the first frame, so stops on the back of the card. And I have some global variables here called suit, which is set to null, card name, which in this case is set to back, card value, and face value. And I use the card value and the face value in creating games. The card value would be the number from 1 to 13 that card is in the suit. So 1 would be an ace, 13 would be a king. The face value is generally the points we assign to that. So most card games assign 10 points to a face card. 10, jack, queen, and king are all 10 points as far as their face value. And then I have a function here called getCardID that simply returns the card name, a literal string of, and concatenating the suit. So if I look at the second frame, I have the suit is clubs, the card name is ace, the card value is 1, the face value is 1. So if this were the value or the frame at which that movie clip is stopped, and I called getCardID, it would return ace of clubs. If I look at, let's go down to, say, frame 19, there I have suit is diamonds, card name is 5, face value is 5, card value is 5. Let me go up to one of the face cards. So here's the queen of clubs, card value is 12, face value is 10. So again, if I were to call that getCardID, what I would get if it was on that frame, the function would return queen of clubs. So I simply have 52 instances of that movie clip, each with a unique name. Again, card 1, card 2, going down through card 52. I have a button named shuffle_btn, and then this is a text area component, and its name is text_a display. So that's my interface. Let's take a look at the code. So I have a stop command, even though it's only frame 1, just by habit I tend to put a stop command on the first frame. I have two variables, which are actually arrays. I have card array, which has 53 elements in it, and it's going to track which cards have been assigned to the deck. And then I have an array called deck, which is going to be the actual cards themselves in random order. So I'm going to use card array to keep track of which cards have been displayed and which haven't. I have an event listener for my shuffle button, and it calls this function called shuffle. This is the extent of the code to shuffle the deck. So first of all, I'm going to start with an array. I'm going from I equals 2 to I is less than or equal to 53. I'm going to increment I each time through the loop. And I'm going to set card array sub I to 0. I'm going to use 0 as a flag that that card has been unused, and 1 if it's been used. Then I've got a loop for I equals 1 to 52. Again, incrementing that by 1 each time through the loop. I've got a do loop inside of that, which I'm going to randomly generate a number between 2 and 53. And while card array sub j does not equal 0, I'm going to keep regenerating that. So if I generate a number, let's say I generate 10, and I've used 10 before, I would have set card array sub 10 to 1. So if it's not 0, I'm going to generate another card. This is how I get to where it only uses each card once. Assuming that it's unused, that this did equal 0, I'm going to set card array sub j to 1, meaning that card now has been marked as being used. My cards are going to go from ace to king of clubs, ace to king of diamonds, ace to king of hearts, and ace to king of spades. And then I'm going to set my deck array for that first element, if I'm going through the loop the first time, to whatever number was generated. So basically I'm going to get a list of elements in that deck array going from 1, or actually in this case 2 to 53. So that's going to generate my deck of cards in the order of these numbers from 2 to 53. And why did I use 2? Because my first frame of that movie clip was the back of the card. So my first card, the ace of clubs, is frame number 2 of that movie clip. That's why I chose 2. So I'm going from 2 to 53 rather than from 1 to 52. Once I've generated that deck of cards, then I'm going to display it. So I'm going to first of all clear the text in my text area component, and then I've got a for loop. It's going to go from 1 to 52, and each time through that loop I'm going to take the card object and whatever number it is, so card 1 the first time through the loop, and I'm going to go to and stop on whatever the value is of deck sub I. So if my first card, deck sub 1, was a 2, I'd get the ace of clubs in that first card. And then I'm simply going to display in that text area the value from the get card ID function that was built into my movie clip. And if it's the first line, I'm not going to add a carriage return, but after the first line, I'm going to add a carriage return and then the value of get card ID. If I was going to create a card game with this, I can generate my deck, and that would be the value that I would pull cards off of. Actually, I could pull from the bottom and use the pop, or I could use shift to pull from the top, or just simply use the numbers, whatever the index number would be, starting, and in this case I started with 1 rather than 0. There is an element 0, I'm just not using it. And that's all there is to generating or shuffling a deck of cards, and then you could use that in some type of game.